We are now.
Happy New Year!
He's right, BG in the building. It's your boy Big Pedro, Ricky Leaky down low. Happy New Year. Fuck 2020. It's finally out of there. 2021 in the building. Off to a bit of a rocky start for everybody but the Knicks.
We'll got a little wild yesterday.
A little bit wild there. I'm sure you're sick of that shit, so we're trying not to talk about it, but we are back. Happy New Year. We're happy everybody got through it. Happy holidays. Hopefully only gained a couple of pounds, but it is 2021. We got a lot of optimism, hoping that everything kind of turns around like by Knicks. But CrackBacks, we're back. Ricky, BG, got anything to say?
Well, I think early in 2021, the one thing sports fans should notice is how much of a fluke the Miami Heat run was last year. Those are my thoughts. Brian,
that didn't take too long. 30 seconds into the new year, he's hating on the Heat already.
I never stopped.
Yeah, I never stopped either.
Never stopped. And we've been saying that. If you go back, we're on wax. This shit's recorded. You can go on YouTube. You can check us out. We've said it. We've been saying it since they got to the finals. They got a lucky run to get through. Indiana was hurt. Giannis got hurt. I can't even remember. Was it Boston that they beat in the conference? But Kemba Walker was hurt. So there was an injury along the way the entire time until they even got to the Lakers. They were outmatched. Jimmy Butler also struggling out of the gate.
Drink your juice, kids. Drink your juice.
Stay hydrated, 100%. Stay hydrated, because you're gonna start to collapse. You're gonna fall off just like the Heat and Jimmy Butler. There are other people that never ever got to the top. At least Jimmy got almost to the top. But we're gonna slide right into coach talk in the NFL, because Adam Gase ever been to the top? Has he ever been anywhere where you feel never? And where's he heading at? Well, he just lost his job. The Jets need somebody. Reek, you're a Jet fan. Who you want?
I don't know, man. That's a tough question, because, I think there's also some candidates that like most NFL fans aren't aware of. So, obviously from the outside looking in.
We're not asking them.
NFL fans
We're asking you.
I said you.
So me,
who do you want?
I'd be okay with Arthur Smith from Tennessee, Brian Dable. I'd be okay with him. And but obviously if the Eagles fire Peterson, that would be my number one option, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So,
yeah, I think they're going to keep him at this point
because they're smart. Because he's actually a good coach.
it would be dumb.
The jury's out. I don't know.
There are other coaches that are much more.
They won the Super Bowl, but Frank Reich was right there. He was calling plays. He was, running the offense. He was making all the adjustments. I don't know how much of a great coach Peterson really is. Well,
you did fire Morningweg, right?
Especially with the debacle that just happened. That's a decent transition. We could talk about this Eagles, Giants catastrophe, as Joe Judge is doing multiple press conferences, complaining and crying.
Yeah. No, we'll get there.
Dude, you won 6 games. But anyway, Morningweg got fired, the Eagles offensive coordinator, right?
Zap, get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
You were saying earlier that it's looking like Anthony Lynn's might get a shot?
Well, Jim Schwartz retired because he knew he was probably going to get fired too. But, I read all the articles. I'm in all the Facebook groups. So anything that comes up about the Eagles, I'll read it and see, what names are getting floated around. And this one guy put out the idea of Anthony Lynn. And I didn't think he should have got fired by the Chargers anyway. They lost like 7 games by less than 5 points or something like that. So they're in all their games.
The owner was saying that as why he got fired. The owner believes, because obviously the GM has delivered talent, but he's not. Most of the talent wasn't on the field. But the owner specifically was talking about why he needed to move on, and he didn't like that they lost all those close score games. So it's actually a negative according to the owner. No, it's his team, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying that line of thinking makes no sense, because if they're in all those games, they didn't have Bosa the whole year, they didn't have Derwin James the whole year. They're playing.
That's a big deal.
They're playing with a rookie quarterback. The guy's an offensive specialist.
Mike Williams hasn't been healthy ever.
And the rookie quarterback broke every rookie quarterback record there was. So why would you get rid of that coach? That makes no sense to me. And if that dude wants to come run the offense for the Eagles, I'd love it.
I was going to say for Herbert, they should try to keep some of that offensive staff intact, even though Lynn left, just because why ruin that,
Yeah, you've shown that you've got the young man was responding to whatever coaching they were giving to him in San Diego, because he was getting better. You don't break records by accident in the NFL. All right. So he came in, Lynn. That's the worst firing of this entire list here, and it's also on the flip side the best job of all the open jobs. You talked about the weather.
Absolutely.
You're in LA, that whole nine. But just as a talent standpoint, the best people on the field, the structures in place, the hard positions to find, pass rusher, quarterback, those are already in place. You don't have to worry about that. You have a decent pick here. Maybe you get a left tackle, fortify the line a little bit more, and now those close games actually turn into wins. That's a shit fucking firing. The owner of San Diego, there's something else that's going on with just that. They didn't just fire him. That wasn't a performance firing at all.
Not to mention, like I said, they had to do the whole Hard Knocks thing during the quarantine. Like, how hard would that be, man?
Yeah,
and that's the other thing too. He's in the quarantine, and your team is actually improving. Yeah, you had losses, but all right. So 2 of those games you're playing Kansas City. It didn't matter who the coach was. You're losing both those games. And actually, then went they close in one of them, and then another one. I think they got blown out. Anthony Lynn should not have been fired. He'll have a job either as a coordinator or somebody in college will snatch him up and have them, putting up record-setting points in college. Anthony Lynn's a good coach.
Yeah, I think the only blowout they had was that 45.
And he's a run. He's actually a run-first guy, and he had the quarterback breaking records as a rookie.
And his running back Eckler was hurt. He lost his starting running back for 8-9 weeks. So that's a shit firing. Gase deserved to get fired. Gase actually should have been fired last year. But you've got
all the other guys that got fired definitely deserved it. Marone was way over his stayed way past his welcome. Gase was definitely a good firing. Who else got axed? Bill O'Brien.
I would argue with you that the people in Jacksonville will tell you that Marone stayed exactly how long he needed to stay.
Exactly.
If they had brought in another coach, maybe they have the Flores effect where Miami wins 3 or 4 more games than they were expecting to win, and then you lose out on one of who we expect to be as a franchise quarterback coming out. So Marone did his job. He stayed, and he sucked like hell in freaking Jacksonville. Although James Robinson did improve underneath him, and his job actually should get easier if he's going to have a real quarterback handing him the ball next year. So
just on a side note, real quick, the Sixers are losing to the Nets right now by 20, and Kyrie and Durant aren't even playing.
By 20?
They're down 20 at this point.
It's a long NBA game, though.
And it's a weird season. The Sixers play last night?
Yeah, they won last night.
That's why they're losing by 20.
Oh no! It was the night before that they beat
I'm just tired of seeing Embiid at the top of the key, sitting outside the 3-point line. Like, dude, you're not a spot up shooter. You're not JJ Redick. Get down low and get underneath.
At least he doesn't get a rebound and then try to take it up the court and spin and throw the ball away like Julius Randle does. But I don't want to say anything negative. I don't want to say anything negative about the Knicks. Knicks are coming up in a little bit. We got some Knicks talk coming up in a little bit. But, we're staying on the coaches here. So we had Marone. Marone did his job, got Trevor Lawrence headed to Jacksonville. Adam Gase tried to do his job, but he sucks at it, so he got fired. We're still waiting on who you want. You gave us some roundabout answer.
Hold on, but let's keep going back to the coaches.
Did you say you want Matt Patricia?
No, we're talking about who got fired.
That's what I thought you said for a second. I was like, what?
No. I'm talking about who got fired. Who got fired? We're going over who got fired because we want to go over the rankings of the top jobs. Let's go over who got fired first. And the other guy we're missing is Matt Patricia that we didn't mention. And I know I was reading. I'm always on Twitter, always reading different stuff, and some people were saying that that market is like one of the worst ones to be in, and those owners aren't honestly really good to work for.
Detroit.
So a lot of top executives don't want to go there.
Yeah,
but I mean
they've sucked forever. They went 0-16 the one year with Orlovsky,
and the city sucks. What do you want to be in Detroit for?
Yeah, they've made all-world type talents retire early in their career. That's all you need to know about the franchise. Barry Sanders, Megatron.
Yeah, multiple superstars retired because
not just like. And I don't think these guys are just like, perennial Pro Bowl. These are like best of all time talents in Barry Sanders and Calvin Johnson, and they've all retired early in their careers. That's all we need to know about that.
Part of Calvin Johnson's problem was Matthew Stafford kept throwing him into harm's way. So if you keep landing on your back in the end zone or you keep getting blasted anytime you go across the middle, they're throwing you into harm's way. It's going to shorten your career a little bit. But Detroit's a shitty job. It's cold as fuck. It's a shit city.
I've been on a business trip to Detroit, and the guys that live there said there's houses in the suburbs that are abandoned just because the economy is so bad, and there's like cougars and mountain lions like living in the houses.
Damn.
They wanted Dave Bing.
There were like whole buildings that had like barricades around it, chained up like it was Beirut.
Pulling it back to sports, Dave Bing's a former Pistons player. He was the mayor of the city and actually went to the city council with a proposal to bulldoze the outer reaches of the thing. He's like, we don't have the infrastructure to get garbage out there. If we bulldoze it, we don't have to worry about the sewer out there no more. They shot him down, but nobody wants to go to Detroit. That's the bottom tier. That's the bottom tier job on there. And I've said it many times on here that I have no respect or any sort of anything for Matt Stafford. Matt Stafford's on the list. And I'm going to continue. I know his name ain't Jermaine, but I'm going to keep calling him Jermaine. Matt Stafford's on the same list with Jermaine Wiggins. High picks, number 1 picks, and you never get up to anywhere close to your potential. So
somebody just threw a ball at Dwight Howard.
I like it. Detroit's a shit job, and that they're going to have to get either the new guy who just wants to get a job or a retread or something like that. You're not going to get one of the top flight ones. Anybody that's high up on a list of another team, your Lincoln Rileys, your Eric Bieniemys, your Arthur Smiths, Brian Daboll's name seems to be being tossed around a lot. None of those people are going to Detroit. I don't want to go to Detroit. I don't even want to drive through Detroit. Detroit's terrible.
His name is Andrew Wiggins.
No, he needs to legally change his name to Jermaine.
We do a sports podcast.
Fuck
that. You need to get their names right.
I know. I gave you the preface.
Andrew Wiggins.
No. When Andrew Wiggins, and this is the last time I'm going to say his name correctly, starts to play like he's a number 1 pick, then he'll get called by the right name. If I was on the team with him, I would call him Jermaine to his face because he doesn't deserve to be called his actual government name. He sucks. He borderline sucks for being a first-round pick. Well, not even first round, first overall.
Are you guys watching this game? They're about to fight.
No, I don't have the game. I pretty much only watch Knicks games these days.
So the other open job is
Houston.
Your boys. We talked about Bill O'Brien already, but now we talk about your boys. The Falcons opening. That's the next one.
That's not the second one to me, though.
No, we're not ranking
best job.
them in order. No, we're not ranking them in order. We're just talking about all the jobs that are open.
Oh, all right. No, if you're tossing an open job out the job, yeah, but that's not the second best job. Matt's
Who do you want?
I'm just gonna roll it out.
Who do you want?
I'm between 3 guys really. Because I think we're gonna have to have somebody that can develop a quarterback because Matt Ryan's on his way out. We got a year, probably 2 tops, with Matt in there. So I like Arthur Smith as well. If anybody that could make Ryan Tannehill look like an NFL quarterback is an excellent coach. Brian Daboll, any guy that can make Josh Allen look like an MVP caliber quarterback is a hell of a coach. And then the other guy is Eric Bieniemy. And we talked about this a few times off the air about, maybe Bieniemy's never called plays before, but he's been in the ear of Andy Reid the whole time. And I'm sure sometimes you don't always have to do it. As long as you're around somebody that and you're watching, it's like a sous chef that's sitting behind Gordon Ramsay the whole time. He's going to see the right way to hold a knife. He's going to see the right way to cut onions. And the whole world keeps saying that he's like the top flight dude. They usually don't miss that bad, except for Adam.
I mean, if there's one thing you're right on, he's got the headset on, so he's going to hear all the concepts. He's going to pick up on some of it. The thing that I'm saying is he was like the hot prospect. Everybody wanted him. He's now interviewed with half the league, and he still hasn't got offered. So,
but nobody's gotten an offer.
It's got to mean that he's not interviewing well. Because usually, if there's a good coach that everybody wants, as soon as they interview, the owner's like, "Don't let him leave. Don't let him out of the city." And they offer him right there.
Remember when the Falcons signed Quinn, and this year might even be different because the rules are all different. Everything's all fucked up because of COVID. Maybe the rules might be different. But when the Falcons were courting Quinn, they interviewed him in the wild card week because Seattle had the bye that week.
Didn't they have like helicopters following his truck, like his convoy and shit?
No, I don't remember that. But they didn't hire him until right before the Super Bowl. So, and he was the hottest prospect out there. Everybody wanted him. The Jets wanted him too. Everybody wanted him at that time. But I'll have to look it up. But there may be something with the rules because nobody's been offered a job. And there have been a lot of Saleh's interviewed at like 5 or 6 places. Arthur Smith has already. Your favorite coach of all time, Jason Garrett, has interviewed for the San Diego. The Giants want him back.
Why?
There's
I mean, he
rumors.
did better than Shermer.
There's rumors that the Giants are actually willing to up his salary to keep him in New York and not have him go if he's going to be quoted as a head coach.
Unbelievable.
That makes no sense to me. That makes no sense to me.
But here, the one comment I want to make about Bieniemy, which is why I think this offseason makes it even harder, because I know right now all the coaches that have gotten interviewed can only be through Zoom. And my concern with Bieniemy is, are you hiring him because he's an offensive guru? Because that's where the concern is. So the only way I see a team hiring him is in-person interview. He's got to blow away the owner because he's got to be a good communicator. You got to see that he's a good leader. Because if you're just hiring him because he's an offensive guru, it's not going to pan out. You got to bring the guy in and see what kind of leader he is, the kind of person he is. If he's a good communicator,
Exactly.
then it would pan out. But like you said, he's interviewed everywhere except Houston. Houston doesn't want to interview him.
Here's the thing I have about that is, right, Andy Reid's a really respected coach. So if a GM or somebody picks up the phone and calls Andy's going to give him an endorsement, and that's good enough. Honestly, that's good enough for me.
Or maybe he's not.
Well, that's the other thing, but we would have heard that by now.
Yeah,
that shit would have stayed quiet.
Everyone in the
There's
organization.
no way that stays quiet. If somebody was like, Andy Reid said this guy's not ready.
Maybe they're asking Andy, and he's like, I don't know. He might not be ready.
Nah, I doubt
Well,
that. That would be headline news right now if that shit was if that was actually going down. But that's my list though. And the other thing with Bieniemy is maybe he doesn't even call plays in Atlanta. You can sign a young OC, or we've talked about LaFleur before, how he should have never left Atlanta.
Oh, yo.
But
there's another LaFleur.
Who?
There's Matt LaFleur's younger brother, Mike LaFleur, is still on the Niners staff.
I want him.
So
I want him as my OC.
I saw that name as like an Eagles OC. Let's bring in that dude to run the offense. Let's bring in Dan Quinn to run the defense. Peterson don't got to do nothing.
You don't want Dan Quinn running your defense. He's lost it. Whatever spark was there, unless you're getting Cam Chancellor to play strong safety.
Defensive coordinator.
He was the first. I mean, he was a great defensive coordinator. He was not a great defensive head coach. We didn't have a good defense at all. I'll tell you the thing he's got a great eye for defensive tackle talent and linebackers. Yeah, every linebacker,
coach, right? Wasn't he a D-line coach
he started D-line coach, and the last thing he was before he got to DC in Seattle, he was a secondaries coach, which our safeties were decent, corners were not. But he's found every linebacker that Dan Quinn brought in. Deion Jones is an absolute animal. Foye Oluokun is the second-year dude out of Yale. He is an absolute animal. Devondre Campbell got big money to go. I think it's to San Francisco. Got big money to go elsewhere. All those are Dan Quinn finds. He just, the secondary never came through. And well, you see, you guys got pass rushers. If you got pass rushers, then Quinn might be all right for you. We just never could get to the quarterback. But the LaFleur kid, LaFleur, his brother and Matt Ryan said it. He goes, "I was most comfortable I ever was when I had him as my quarterbacks coach." Those guys use the only.
And now look at him in Green Bay.
For the family, absolutely.
That's Aaron Rodgers too, though, to be honest. But.
Well, Aaron's been doing it under Mike McCarthy.
I mean, he had thrown 50 touchdowns in a season before under Mike McCarthy. I just think Aaron Rodgers is really good.
Maybe like 12, 13 years ago.
Yeah. When they won the Super Bowl, like it was the year after they won the Super Bowl, he threw like 50 touchdowns.
Who is this dirty-looking dude hitting shots for the Nets?
So now we know all the jobs.
That's a long list of people.
If we rank them, not talking about just straight ranking the jobs.
He just looks real sweaty.
Let me know what you guys think. I go number one. I go obviously LA. We all agree on that.
Yeah.
I go
LA, San Diego, whatever the fuck they are.
Yeah. Like Get said, you can go to San Diego if you want.
Yeah, he can live there if he wants.
Right down the street.
Number two,
down the street.
Number two, I go Jacksonville. They're going to have the most amount of cap space in the NFL. And if you believe in Lawrence or not, they still do have the number one pick, and I think 11 picks in this draft overall. So you have the cap flexibility. You have the assets that if you're a good talent evaluator, you can turn that team around quickly. They already have DJ Chark. I like Shea Null out of Colorado.
They got Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's nasty.
Yep.
The defense, Josh Allen, the guy that I wanted in the draft, yeah, he's nasty. And then after that, I would go Jets, similar, 9 picks, 2 in the first round, 6 in the first 3 rounds. Second most cap space in the league, so you can have the roster flexibility.
Yeah, aren't you guys like $75 million under the cap or something like that?
Yeah, only the Jaguars have more cap space. Then at 4, I would go Atlanta. I think especially, you know how we all also Doc Rivers' daughter, who Seth Curry married, she's also pretty hot too.
Wait, Seth Curry is married to Doc
Some
Rivers'
technical
daughter?
difficulties.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that was one of the themes of the summer that he was going to play for his father-in-law.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
So we're back. We're running some
Austin
technical
Rivers-
difficulties there. Back in the building here. We're talking about coaches. So we're up to 3 there. You said Jacksonville was the 3rd best job. The 2 left are Houston.
No, the
and
Jets
Atlanta.
are the 3rd best. No, the Jets were the 3rd best.
We just
The
had a
Jets were
long,
third best.
interesting conversation about the Currys.
We were ranking the Currys, but back to the
You're
rankings for
Trinidadian,
football. I know you guys think so. It's 2.
You see it right there. I know Curry. Anyway, go ahead.
So 2 was Jaguars, 3 was Jets, 4 was Atlanta, because the negatives are cap situation,
And
aging
age.
quarterback. But if you can figure that out, right, an age of the whole team, right? But if you can figure that out, and
It's not the whole team. It's really Julio and Matt. Everybody
Exactly.
else is young.
True. So if you can figure that out, because I think if you put Justin Fields in that offense with the right coordinator, give me that guy for offensive rookie of the year. You got that guy throwing to Ridley and all those weapons, give me him for offensive rookie of the year. You put the right offensive coordinator there. Then I go Houston. I specifically put them that low. Obviously, they have Deshaun Watson, so people think I'm a little crazy because they think the quarterback solves everything. But the only foundational piece they have on the team other than him is Laramie Tunsil. Laramie Tunsil's cap hit goes up by almost $20 million next year. They're already $17 million under the cap.
Picks for him. They don't have a first round pick this year or next year, and they don't have a second round this year.
Yeah, they don't pick to the 3rd round this year, so limited assets, $17 million over the cap. So in 2022 they won't be over the cap, but Deshaun Watson's cap hit's going to be $42 million. So very, very limited flexibility to make the team better.
Well, he wants out of there.
He wants out of there, and if he leaves, then it's almost a Detroit level job at that point. Because
and then
he's
the
only attractive thing in Houston. I agree. I keep saying San Diego. Gets is gonna kill me. The Chargers. I'm just gonna say the fucking Chargers. The Chargers. That's the best job out there.
San Diego Superchargers.
Second place for me would be Jacksonville. You get in the first pick. Robinson seems to be a solid running back. You've got some pieces on defense. You got an elite pass rusher. Number 3. I'm on the fence a little bit with it being the Jets. Yeah, they got a lot of cap space, but it's the Jets, man. You guys are fucking cursed. You have to do something with the Gastineau family or something. Didn't Joel Berg get paralyzed? the sack exchange needs to come back to exercise some demons or something. Until then,
I know.
I'm gonna take Atlanta over the Jets.
Dennis Bird.
What was the Joel? They had a Joel on there. They had a Joel something.
They had Joe Klecko. Joe.
Where there's a Joel somewhere.
Joe. Joe Klecko.
The sack exchange. I'm either good at a last or a first name. All right, I'm not going to get you both of them. The Jets need some help. Because of that, I'm taking Atlanta over them. You can win right away. You do have some more stars, that sort of thing. But after that, the Jets, you're going to move. Darnold's not going to be there next year. You're moving Darnold. I'm calling it out right now. Darnold's going to be playing somewhere else. And you're not even taking Fields. You're going BYU with Zach Taylor.
I don't like it.
No, it's not happening. You want that to happen because you want Justin Fields, but that's not happening.
Stop reading my mind. After that, we're going Houston for everything you said there. The Deshaun Watson. It's a nice area, big city. You can you can find a nice restaurant there. But Detroit's the absolute last, bottom of the barrel. Shit job. Unless I was a coordinator that couldn't get a job anywhere else, I'm not fucking with Detroit. And I think Getz probably is the same list as me.
I mean, I'm not going to rank them all. Obviously, the Chargers is the best job. You know how I feel about the quarterback. They got a ton of talent all over the field. You're living in LA, San Diego, Southern California, wherever you want to live. They got badass uniforms. San Diego's a dope job. Detroit is a horrible job. Bad uniforms. Terrible city. They have the only talent they have is Stafford, and you guys don't even think he's that good, and he's old anyway.
I think he's good. It's Joel. I think Stafford's pretty good. That's Joel.
I actually think the Jets is a better job than you guys do. Whether you keep Darnold or not, they're way under the cap. You're playing in New York. You can definitely attract free agents. I just think that's a better job. Whether you keep Darnold or you draft a kid, you're going to have a talent at quarterback either way. So I think that's a pretty good job. The kid Becton is one of the best left tackle prospects I've seen in a long time. he's going to be an all-star for a long, long time, and that's a huge building block.
I didn't give Houston credit for their uniforms, by the way. Houston's uniforms are dope as well.
Houston's uniforms are dope, but that's a dumpster fire right now. The owner is bugging. He fired everybody, and then apparently there's something that Enrique sent me today that Deshaun Watson wants to leave now because the owner didn't hire the GM that he suggested.
You know where Deshaun Watson's from, right? Does anybody know where Deshaun Watson is from?
He's from Georgia.
Atlanta, sir.
Is this kid out of his mind? He's going to request a trade because they didn't hire the GM that he wanted? This guy's been in the league 2-3 years.
Players play, coach. Whatever happened to that?
But it's that organization. He's the highest ranking, the person with the most juice in the building right now since O'Brien.
It's these millennials, Joel. They're entitled.
And think about it, bro. He's friends with LeBron and all these fucking guys in the NBA. All they want to do is tell the franchise what to do. But
well, they actually do that in the NBA, like LeBron.
Yeah, because one player makes a difference
for whatever team he's on.
Absolutely.
Well, yeah, because one player makes a difference. Deshaun Watson almost threw for 5,000 yards, and the team was only 4-12.
Oh, they got a commercial with Heat fans crying.
But there's no structure in that organization. That's why he's run his mouth and all that. You said the exact perfect word. You called it a dumpster fire, and that's exactly what the fuck is happening in Houston. You can't have those inmates running the asylum. You know who else is a dumpster fire? The other team in New York, besides the Jets.
No,
Joe Judge. We're talking about coaches. He's the next one. Probably should get fired. I know he thought that he should have been a division winner. 6 wins, and you're crying. Still days and days and days after.
Yo, man.
And the team that you said laid down for the other team to win. Didn't they lose to the Eagles?
Yes, they lost to the Eagles. Let me address
shut the fuck up at that point.
Yeah, shut the fuck up. Let me address this because I actually like Joe Judge. He was a special teams guy, which I have a special place. I have a special place in my heart for special teams coaches because they're usually the most rah-rah guys, the most motivational, and they kind of have to coordinate teams around everything else at practice. They never really have their own time to meet with guys and to get their teams ready. So run a good special.
Before you go on, I got one point about special teams coaches too. They got to
run
motivate.
A good special teams unit in the NFL is hard, man.
They got to motivate guys that don't necessarily want to do what they're doing. Absolutely. Wide receivers want to catch the ball. Running backs want to run the ball. Nobody wants to run full speed down the field and throw your body into somebody else on a kickoff. So
nobody wants to be a gunner.
Special teams coaches are some of the best coordinators, of people.
And think about how good the Patriots special teams were while he was there. So I actually like Joe Judge, but now to come out and go on live television in a press conference and bitch about the Eagles taking out a quarterback in the fourth quarter when you only had 6 wins and you're actually acting like you deserve a playoff spot
and one of
you're
the losses
pissed off about what the Eagles did. Coach your own fucking team. Yeah, you had a chance to beat the Eagles and you did it. So shut the fuck up.
Yeah, if you had 7 wins with that win against the Eagles, you'd be in the playoffs.
And honestly,
stop crying.
And honestly, let me tell you right now, them taking Jalen Hurts out of the game, that wasn't the tank move. They sat Miles Sanders. They sat Jordan Mailata, who was starting at left tackle for the last 8 games and was getting better. They sat a whole bunch of dudes. So they made the decision way before the game to sit a bunch of dudes. And, hey, maybe it's not a good idea to go all out and try and win this game. So the writing was on the wall. Don't bitch about them taking out Jalen Hurts at the end of the game. I think, what was Jalen Hurts, 7 for 20 at the time they pulled him out?
He had the 2 rushing touchdowns.
He just short-armed 4th and goal. The guy was wide open. He short-armed it before he got
he had the 2 rushing touchdowns.
And he threw a pick, right? Didn't he throw a pick in the end zone too?
Yeah.
But
the quarterbacks get all the blame and all the praise. So no one, unless you're a real fan or a big sports fan, or a true Eagles fan, you're not going to notice that the running back got benched or that the left tackle's different. But the quarterback is the one that you notice right away.
Yeah, taking the quarterback out of a close game.
Right, but also Peterson said the week coming up that he's going to give Sudfeld the look. So he also said that Sudfeld's going in the game. Hurts was playing bad. And then, you have a lot of people saying, oh, you got to leave the kid in to evaluate him, see if he can bring the team back to beat a divisional rival on Sunday Night Football. You don't have to evaluate that he can run. We know that. We know he can run. He wasn't passing the ball well. And the argument of, oh, we got to take out a division rival to let another divisional rival go in, they're going to lose you.
Nobody cares. We ain't doing nothing to help the Giants. We don't give a shit about the Giants or their fans.
And you helped yourself by losing. You helped yourself by losing. 3
fans. All you Giants fans are a bunch of bitches. I'm going to say it right now on tape. For you to actually complain about the Eagles taking out a quarterback when you only had 6 wins Shut up.
And then Brian Flores should
Go
be
Plaxico
playing the
yourself.
same tune because the Browns got to play a Steelers team that sat 3 of their best starters on defense, didn't play Ben Roethlisberger, but also played Mason Rudolph. That's a double negative. You bench Ben Roethlisberger and you play Mason Rudolph. So that's And then
what happened to the guy with no eyebrows? What
Dobson.
was his name?
Josh
Dobbs. Nice try, Joel Dobson.
That's close. That was close. No, I know he's. I know he went.
Josh Dobbs because
And what about the
Rudolph
Bills?
is terrible.
I know he went to Tennessee.
Mason
I know he
Rudolph
has
is
alopecia.
awful. Yeah, he's got no eyebrows. It's crazy,
Mason,
man.
he doesn't have any hair. Period. No arm, no head, no eyebrows, no mustache, no nothing. He's like a lizard. He's like a chihuahua. Yeah, exactly. He's fucking. He's a Mexican hairless. But he played on Sunday. They were bringing him in to do like Wildcats and shit. Yeah.
No, why doesn't he play? Mason Rudolph is awful.
because obviously he's more awful than
Mason
Mason Rudolph.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph actually completed some deep passes because they got some really good receivers.
He may be more awful than Mason. We were chatting about this earlier today, how the people in team forums on Facebook and like Instagram, things like that, sort of some of the dumbest people on earth. So there's the third string quarterback on the Falcons for like the last 4 years, a dude named Ben Kurt. I know that I said his name right.
What?
Ben Kurt. Exactly. And he's the first half. No, sorry, the fourth quarter quarterback in game 3 of the preseason and the starter in game 4. That's what he gets. And he balls out in those 2 games because he's playing. Yeah, because he's playing against the dude who's going to be parking cars. And every year, these people, why don't we give Ben Kurt a look? This guy, Matt Ryan's not doing nothing for us. Why can't Ben Kurt be in there? So you're asking why Josh, there was somebody in the stands of that game going, put in Dobson. Put in Dobson. But he sucks.
Of course, Dobbs.
All right, so what I meant by that was his father was there, and they were saying, put in Dobbs' son, and they were pointing it down there. Anyway, whatever. So but he fucking sucks. He obviously sucks because Mason Rudolph is terrible. He was bad before he got hit in the head by Garrett. He's bad after he got hit in the head by Garrett. He's just bad.
My next creative player on Madden is going to be Josh Dobson.
On Madison? What is Madison?
You got me saying Dobson, Madison.
But also, so my last note, I will say that because I do think Joe Judge is a good coach because he's not only did he insult the Eagles, he spoke about the integrity of the game. So if he's such a champion of integrity of the game, there would be a scenario in the future if they fire Gettleman that they could be in first place in the division. I better see all those starters.
I like how you slipped that in there. If they fire Gettleman, they might be one of the division.
No, but you know what? I'll give Gettleman some credit. They got a pretty good deal from Leonard Williams because Leonard Williams was a beast this year.
Gettleman is the same level of GM as that movie Draft Day. That's what fucking Gettleman is.
How are you gonna possibly get in a press conference and talk about the Eagles ruining the integrity of the game, and you're trying to argue that a 6-win team should be in the playoffs? Come on, man. You guys don't like the Dolphins, but the Dolphins won 10 games and they're not even in.
I have no ill will towards the Dolphins.
But he's talking about the integrity of the game. Get the hell out of here, man.
But the Dolphins should be in the playoffs with that kind of logic because the Bills shouldn't have played everyone. They could be pissed about that Josh Allen had to play, but Ben didn't. You didn't
hear Brian Flores complaining about who the Steelers played.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And
we all love Brian Flores.
We do like Brian Flores.
Even me, who hates the Dolphins, I like Brian Flores.
Is your opportunity to win your way in. And they didn't win. They didn't give themselves an opportunity to win the way in. They needed help, and they didn't get the help. So Giants fans, Joe Judge, Eli Manning, Jeff Hostetler, all of you, shut the fuck up.
Thank you.
Is this guy Levert on the Nets going for the Jason Terry look?
I believe so. But the only thing, he's like 6 inches taller. He's like a stretched out Jason Terry.
Much longer than Jason Terry. Why is the Entertainment Tonight dude doing the TNT game? Where's Ernie?
I hope Ernie's okay. Remember, Ernie's a cancer survivor.
I know Ernie has health issues.
Yeah. No, I have no idea. Maybe it's just vacation time. That's what I'm going to hope for Ernie. They just got back from the New Year, or whatever. Ernie Johnson, as a kid in Atlanta, he was on Turner Sports is there. He did more than basketball when I was a kid. So Ernie Johnson is near and dear. I'll never fuck his name up. He's near and dear to the heart. But the Giants fans, you need to shut the fuck up. You drafted Danny Dimes. Had you drafted a different quarterback, maybe you have more than the 6 wins you have this year. Just shut up, basically. All right.
Hey, Giants fans, pardon my French, but blow me.
Yeah, and they had the chance at the first tackle. They had the chance at the first tackle in the draft this draft, and they got the worst one. Thomas was ranked worse than all the first-round guys, and they had the first shot.
He's a left guard.
We all said he was a guard. Yeah,
they don't draft well.
Yeah.
The only thing that I'll give Joe Judge a little bit of a pass on is if Saquon doesn't go down, maybe they win a game or two more. But you did lose a running back. And to be honest with you, Gauntlet didn't play that bad. But shut up. You're a professional football player. This isn't YMCA league flag football where you're trying to do the honorable thing or whatever. It's professional football. There's a lot of money on the line. There's a lot of money going from pick 6 to pick 9 what would have happened if the Eagles had come back and won that game. It was absolutely no reason for Philadelphia to trot out their number 1 guys on a game that was meaningless. And honestly, the only thing you could do was hurt them.
Honestly, that's the only thing that makes sense to me is that they did sit all those guys and they did pull Jalen Hurts out in an effort to, not tanking, because you don't tank in one game, but like, hey, what purpose does it serve for us to try and win this game? We're going to get a better draft pick. And the difference between 6 and 9 is huge, especially at the top of the draft in the top 10 picks. You're talking about the difference between maybe a guy that could have like an all-pro career and a guy that might be a questionable starter sometimes. With those picks at the top, you're talking about between 6 and 9 might be the difference between like Jamar Chase and some bum I've never heard of.
The only time that pick 10 was better than pick 2 was when Chicago took Trubisky and left Patrick Mahomes on the board.
Right.
Good transition.
Yeah.
So we're talking about quarterbacks here. People are going to be moving around the league this year. I'm on record earlier today saying that Sam Darnold will not be on the Jets next year, and I feel like he's going to be in San Francisco. Deshaun Watson once out. Matt Stafford should be moved somewhere. He sucks. There were quarterbacks. There's a quarterback carousel going on.
Even if you just look at the guys who are definitely going to be free agents, I'm not saying they're definitely going to move, but Dak Prescott, Cam Newton, and the biggest mismanagement of the quarterback position in Chicago, Mitchell Trubisky, who they drafted at number 2 overall, they decided not to pick up his 5th-year option, which was just on the rookie pay scale, not an extension. They were like, no, we're not going to give you the 5th year. We're going to go with Foles. So they're playing Foles $20 million a year. And you know what they did with Foles? They benched him and played Trubisky. Trubisky got hot at the end of the year, got them in the playoffs. So now he's under 25, the number 2 overall pick, got him into the playoffs twice out of his first 4 years, and they didn't pick up the 5th-year option. And he's a free agent now. So now they're going to have to pay him big money to keep him around if that's what they want to do.
And that's going to hamstring that organization for years.
I disagree. They don't have to pay him a lot. There's not going to be a market.
He's a young quarterback that's made the playoffs twice already. There's not going to be a market for him?
No, I'm agreeing with you. All right, so I'm going to play devil's advocate on both sides here. There is most definitely a market for him because there's a couple of things. Every NFL quarterback, every NFL coach thinks they get a quarterback with raw skills and they can mold him into something. So definitely because of his age, he has a market. Now, if Chicago gives him money, that's going to hamstring that freaking organization.
They can't though. They're paying Foles $20 million.
I mean, what's the cap hit though? They can probably cut Foles or restructure or something like that.
I don't know if
Trubisky's not a quarterback that's taking you further than a wild card or maybe the second round.
I don't know the specifics on if they restructured his deal when they made the trade for him, but when Jacksonville signed him, it was 4 years, $88 million. So if that's still on the books, he's getting $22 million. You really can't pay Trubisky unless you move Foles or Foles retires.
No, dude. But at this point, you let Foles do whatever Foles is going to do. Trubisky can fuck off. He is not a starting quarterback to me in the NFL. He's a guy. He's a Frank Reich. You brought him up. He was the OC on the Eagles before. He's a head coach of Indianapolis now. He's a Frank Reich. He can win a game for you here and there, but he
love Frank Reich.
Jim Kelly.
You know what?
4 years in Buffalo, and that's what Trubisky should be. Trubisky should be a backup.
You know what? Actually, I don't know. Maybe they can because, well, I mean, they're basically even in the cap next year. But Nick Foles' cap hit is only $6 million, and if they cut him, it's $10 million in dead cap. I thought his cap hit was much higher.
It was probably either backloaded or front loaded, where they gave him a lot of guaranteed money up front. Those NFL contracts.
Jacksonville did give him a huge guarantee.
Yeah, those contracts in the NFL have to get creative so that they can cut people when they want to.
With all these quarterbacks moving around, I mean, I hate to say it, but Carson Wentz might be on the market as well. Deshaun Watson is now saying he wants to be out of Houston. You're saying, Matt Ryan, they probably can't move on from him, but
we got one more year with Matt because of the cap hit.
We would take Julio Jones if you guys can't afford him anymore.
A lot of rumble coming out of Atlanta. Years before, I would have just laughed that off of you. Come on, man. You know that Julio ain't going nowhere. But there's rumbling now because of Calvin Ridley's, the emergence. Almost 1,400 yards, 12 touchdowns. Calvin Ridley can play. So he's a true number one. He did those half the year. People can't say, he was doing it on the other side. The peerless price factor, where he's doing it on the other side of a number one. Julio was hurt for most of the time. Ridley can ball. So it's making hard to say when you have a Hall of Famer as being expendable, but his age and injury history is starting to get up there a little bit.
Especially if you guys need cap room.
Yeah, and he does have a huge cap hit. A deserved.
Because I'm going to tell you right now,
Julio's
every team in the NFL would try and trade for that guy.
Absolutely.
Like, I don't care what his cap hit is. Every coach in the NFL would be like, "Yo, get me that dude."
And he balls in the playoffs. So you get to the play every single time the Falcons have got to the playoffs, Julio's put up huge numbers in the playoffs, surpassing even his huge regular season numbers.
I love Julio.
Guess wouldn't sleep for 3 days if the Eagles signed. If the Eagles
I'd have the jersey tomorrow.
So here are the hard numbers for Atlanta. So going into 2021, they're 24 mil over the cap going into 2021. And Julio Jones' cap number is 23 point, almost 23.5 million.
Damn,
it's big.
If they cut him, the cap is dead money, 38 million. Yeah,
it was a backloaded contract.
I didn't know he was getting quarterback money.
Getting paid? No, yeah. At the time, he was the highest paid wide receiver in the league. I don't think he is anymore, but at the time, he was definitely the highest paid receiver in the league.
Yeah, you got what? 1, 2, 3. You got 4 guys with a cap number over 20 million. Julio Jones, Matt Ryan, Grady Jarrett, and Jake Matthews all have a cap hit of 20 million or more.
What's the kid's name? The quarterback of Alabama?
Mac Jones.
Mac Jones. I would take him if I was if I'm the Chicago Bears. I let Trubisky dip, and I signed Mac Jones. I signed the kid out of North Dakota or whatever who only didn't play at all this year because of COVID.
Yeah, he's not getting any pub.
I'll take him over Trubisky. I've never even seen the kid play, and I'll take him over Trubisky.
I've never seen.
I just don't want Trubisky.
They say
I saw film last year.
They say he's 6'3", 230, got a rocket arm, he can run.
No, he's an athlete.
He's supposed to be Black Wentz, basically. He's a big kid with a strong arm. I'll take him over Trubisky 5 times out of 5.
I'll tell you what the Falcons.
No picks.
I'll tell you what the Falcons should do. No picks at all the whole year.
Yeah. Because he didn't play this year, but last year he threw 25 touchdowns, 0 picks for about 3,000 yards. But he also ran for like 1,500 yards and had like another 10 or 12 rushing touchdowns. Now he balled out, man, but he just didn't play this year, and.
So based on what you just told me, I'll take him over the kid from BYU.
and you'll take both of them over Trubisky.
I've never seen the kid play, but I'll take him over the kid from BYU. The kid from BYU is 160 pounds soaking wet. He's too small to play in the NFL.
Here it is. Last year, it was 2,789 yards, 9.7 average, 28 touchdowns, 0 picks.
Dude.
He's better than Trubisky already.
That's hard to do.
Yeah.
There's quarterbacks that, kind of second level dudes that are there. Trask, the kid
rushing.
From Florida.
Here's the rushing numbers.
The light-skinned kid from Arkansas.
Yeah, sorry. 1,100 rushing yards, 14 touchdowns.
What?
Baller. That's a fucking baller.
Yo, get me that kid.
Yeah, he looks good on film, man. I think you might have to develop him for a year or two. But he's going to go later to a better team anyways. He's not going to go early, which is good for his career. He's going to end up with like a good organization.
He's going to end up on a better team, and he's going to be the steal of the draft. And I'm going to tell you something right here. I'm going to give you another little segue here, Getz. He's going to be the steal of the draft, just like the point guard on the New York Knicks, who we talked about a couple of weeks ago.
Quickly,
Emmanuel Quickly. Who's on the hottest team in the NBA? You know what time it is? It's time for Knicks talk. Knicks.
Throw up your Q dogs for quickly.
Yes, sir.
My Knicks are balling. 5 out of 6 wins.
Before we get into the Knicks talk, because I know we want to
Yes,
get into the Knicks talk.
Absolutely.
What the Falcons should do, and I know we can't work out the money and the cap hits and shit. The Falcons should try and work Julio Jones for Deshaun Watson. That should be the deal.
Well,
that doesn't make sense.
Working some draft picks and some money, but
I don't hate it.
Houston needs a receiver. Falcons needs a new franchise quarterback.
Wait, hold on. And also, before we move on,
take Julio and Matt.
But one more thing I wanted to mention before we moved on about Trey Lance. Prototypical size. He's 6'4", 225. So he checks all the boxes. Checks all the boxes.
Give me that kid.
On Madden, he's a top round pick for sure.
Yeah,
top round pick for sure. But we're coming back to Knicks talk.
Yes, sir.
I saw the greatest tweet, the greatest information, the funniest shit I've seen all day.
Throw up the Q dogs for quickly.
We're 8 games into the season. 8, less than 2 hands. If you take away the thumbs, that's how many. 8 games into the season, and Thibodeau just passed David Fizdale's win total from last season.
It's amazing what you can do with a real coach.
A real coach, the mole, Fuckdale, David Fuckdale, sent by Pat the Rat to try to destroy my Knicks from the inside out, trying to put the napalm in the foundation and blow it up from inside out. He did not succeed, and my boys are balling. Austin Rivers, balling. 3 years, $10 million. That's a big-time bargain, by the way. Julius Randle looks like an actual NBA player. He's been triple doubles.
Trade bait.
And if you watch that Utah Jazz game, Mitchell Robinson can do everything Rudy Gobert can do, and he doesn't cost $205 million.
And he's never had the Rona.
Yeah. So, and obviously people from the outside can be like, oh my God, you guys are ridiculous. I'm not saying the Knicks are going to win the championship, okay? I'm not saying any of that. I just said what I'm most excited about, and I want to get this on record, is that it looks like we're building a culture where other people want to be there. That's what hasn't been there for 10 years. And that's what I'm most excited about. People actually wanting to be in New York. We were down 14 points.
I'm excited for you guys because Joel has fucking watched this team and been a diehard fan for years, and they sucked. And I've been there for the years when Joel got excited over Kevin Knox.
Yeah.
I've been there.
I'm ready to ride.
I've been there for the years when Joel was sending us pictures of LeBron in the Knicks uniform.
That was never me, by the way.
And they announced that the press conference was going to be in Connecticut, and he was like, "Yo, that's the Knicks training facility."
LeBron's dead to me because of that.
So for the Knicks to actually have a real coach and be going in the right direction and upward trajectory, I'm genuinely happy for you guys. You know, I'm a Sixers fan, diehard, but I'm happy that the Knicks are in the right direction.
But as a Sixer fan, we play the Knicks and the Sixers play every year, obviously same division. You don't want to see a 30-point
It's fun to
win.
watch.
Yeah, you don't want a 30-point win. You rather see that battle, even if you lose by 2. You want to see that battle that's all the way through, unless it's the playoffs.
I've always said that the NBA is better when the Knicks are good, the Lakers are good, the Celtics are good, the Sixers are good. All those teams, you know, it's maybe a throwback to the 80s, but that's like the classic NBA to me. Is when those teams are good, the NBA is great.
When you would hear
watch.
Exactly. That was the shit.
Yes, drop in the Kawhi clip.
Yeah, we gotta drop that. We gotta drop that in the.
Now we said it a couple of weeks ago, and Enrique just reiterated there. The Knicks are not winning a championship this year. We're not delusional. We're not Heat fans. We don't think that every year we're winning the championship. But we're headed in. It's the same thing you said a couple weeks back. We're headed in the right direction. This team doesn't give up.
Justice Winslow, son.
I don't even know. He's in Memphis now. He's Memphis'
Yeah, he's in Memphis now.
Yo, they were souped when they got Justice Winslow.
Oh my God.
Now Justice Winslow, we're gonna take a slight caveat from
Nick. This guy
I worked with was like, yo, he can play defense like Rodman. I was like, are you serious, man?
Justice Winslow, a former Blue Devil. What? No, that's what I said. All right, so Justice Winslow, former Dookie, not up to the stature that Heat fans thought he was going to be. They thought he was going to get a superstar coming out of there.
What?
But light years better than quite possibly the worst first-round pick that the Duke Blue Devils have ever had in uniform. Cam Reddish.
Oh my
This
God.
dude sucks.
Why do you find time to hate on Cam Reddish?
Listen. Anyone that's out there listening,
we're talking about the Knicks. We don't have to talk about Cam Reddish.
No, but we're coming back to the Knicks in a second here, because the Knicks are improving. Cam Reddish is not. I want the next time the Hawks are on TV, have a sit down and watch the 9 minutes that Cam Reddish plays and enjoy yourself. He's so bad. It's hilarious.
No,
Absolutely, he doesn't start. He wouldn't start on Maccabi Tel Aviv. He
started the Knicks game. He started the Knicks game.
Somebody must have turned an ankle. He ain't starting on that team off of merit. Absolutely not. And in fact, let's bring it back to the Knicks game where he missed a dunk and a wide open three and another wide open three. And Kevin Knox, who you brought up a couple of minutes ago, if he was on the playground, everybody would be, yo, you got your shit packed. Reddish sucks. But anyway, continue.
All right. So let me ask you a serious question. If you're the GM of the Knicks and they would trade you Cam Reddish for Kevin Knox straight up right now, would you do the deal?
Absolutely not. I wouldn't trade. I'll tell you.
Book
Yeah, absolutely.
Timestamp it. I want to keep
100%. 100%. I will tell you the level of player that I would, and I'm going to go into the history of the NBA to tell you the level of player that I would trade. I would ask for a draft pick along with Cam Reddish if I was trading them Charles Shackelford.
No.
If I was sending them a Hersey Hawkins, I want 2 first-round picks with Cam Reddish.
Don't disrespect Hersey Hawkins ever.
Hersey
Hawkins was a knockdown shooter before they even had the term.
He was a knockdown shooter, a thing that Cam Reddish is not. I absolutely would not trade Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish.
Hersey Hawkins broke the all-time scoring record when he was in college.
Yeah, it's been since broken though.
Oh yeah, of course, but it was Hersey Hawkins.
Yeah. What school did he go to? Do you know off the top of your head? I have to look that up.
I think it was like Liberty or Bradley or something. It was
something with an L. I think it's like Liberty or LaSalle or something like that.
You know, I'm not picking one guy or the other, but let's just look at the raw numbers here, just so we have comparison.
The fact that he said I won't pick one guy over the other, and one guy went to Duke tells you how bad Cam Reddish sucks.
Yeah, but you know I hate Justice Winslow because when you go to Miami, you're dead to me. But overall, so for the career for Kevin Knox, 9.7 a game. I mean, he doesn't really have too many assists or steals, but he has 1 assist a game.
As his coach, remember that.
I love real numbers.
Yeah, 9.7 points per game, 1 assist, and 3.6 rebounds on basically 37% from the floor. That's fucking garbage, which is Kevin Knox, which is my issue with Kevin Knox. Yeah. Now, Cam Reddish only has 1 year less experience, but throughout his career, he's got 10.5 points per game, 1.5 assists, 3.8 rebounds on 38% from the floor.
COVID shortened season.
But COVID shortened season. More garbage.
COVID is better than Kevin Knox.
COVID shortened season. That's one big game skewing numbers. That's one game where he didn't miss a dunk and his numbers went up a little bit. Fuck that. That dude sucks. You put it. They played the Knicks the other day. The Hawks are up by like 15 or 20. They brought in Cam Reddish. The lead evaporated in seconds, and then he missed that dunk. And then the same guy you're talking shit about right now, Kevin Knox, sent his shit back. Cam Reddish sucks. Not improving. He's not on the level of an Emmanuel Quickly.
We'll see.
Obi Toppin can't even jump right now. His calf is hurt, and he's better.
Timestamp it.
Oh, 100%. I'll take that clip out.
They're both 21, so they're the same age.
No, Enrique, I don't care if you could trade Kevin Knox for Cam Reddish right now, would you do it?
Yeah, I would, just because Cam Reddish actually has the ability to do something else other than shoot, even though he's not doing it well. But he actually has a natural talent to actually dribble a ball to the basket.
When have we seen him? When have we seen him actually reach anywhere close to his exactly? Because he was shit at Duke too.
But we're comparing two
he was
trash
fucking
players.
Absolutely horrible at Duke. At least Kevin Knox was good at Kentucky. Reddish got
he sucks now.
Reddish got drafted.
I'm kind of an honorary Duke fan, and that class that came in, I was very excited about Reddish, and honestly, he didn't do shit at Duke. He was terrible.
Garbage. Absolute
Oh,
garbage.
right.
He got drafted off
Zion,
high school
trash
tape.
players.
Zion was the man.
If Reddish had stayed a second year, let's just say someone had gotten his ear and be like, yo, you should come and stay a second year. He's a second round pick easily at that point because there's more film on him being shitty. He sucks. He absolutely sucks. There are other there actually is a coalition.
But his numbers are better than Knox right now.
No, that's a COVID shortened season. There are all light skinned people who are can be called Reddish. Want him to change his fucking name. He's that bad. He is horrible. He's the worst draft pick that the Hawks have ever had. They drafted John Koncak back in the day when I was there.
Awful. Awful.
There's not one person on the Knicks roster right now because we just cut Omari Spellman, and he was the only one that I would have sent down to Atlanta in a 1-for-1 trade for Cam Reddish.
Here's another point, though. Kevin Knox's rookie year, he averaged 12.8 points a game, and then he declined to 6, and now he's still at 6. So
he's getting worse.
The argument of a declining, and he's regressing even more.
What happened in Kevin Knox's second year?
Fizdale.
Exactly. If you want to look at Julius Randle's numbers under Fizdale and now under Thibodeau, Fizdale was holding everybody back.
But he's still scoring 6 points a game under Thibodeau.
Yeah,
there's
a female ref.
He's playing much better defense. There's been a female ref in the NBA for a while now.
There's a female ref in this Dallas game. I'm perplexed.
I just need her to call fouls on Luka so that Dallas loses. Because you know who has Dallas's first round pick?
They just showed the traitorous Latvian.
The traitorous Latvian.
My favorite NBA nickname ever.
Is it traitorous or notorious?
No, the traitorous.
Because he's a traitor.
That motherfucker wanted out of New York and then started talking shit about the greatest city on the planet. And that city, I lived in that city and loved that city, and I wasn't a 23-year-old millionaire. How do you not love New York when you're young and rich? Something's wrong with you.
If you can live in New York and do it right, there's no place better.
And you can do it right when you're making $6 or $7 million a year.
And he was making like $23 million, right?
Well, he was making bread, and he also had the thing with going to New York, and Amari Stoudemire will tell you this. It's not just your contract. You get it, not just even endorsements. Amari Stoudemire said he would get his agents would get phone calls. Hey, can you have Amari come down and have dinner here just so we can get some photo ops, and we'll pay him $75,000.
Come hang out at the club for $10,000.
Come down there so they'll just hang out for a little bit, take some pictures. Of course, we'll take care of the tab, all of that.
Even the kids from the Jersey Shore show on MTV, they just go to clubs, and the club will pay them $10,000 just to hang out there for the night.
Yeah, or retweet something. And if you're on the Milwaukee Bucks,
if I told either one of you, like, yo, I'll give you $500, you go to this bar tonight. Are we going to that bar or what?
I'm already there.
I'm going.
I'm already sitting there. Where the hell you at? Of course,
I'll go for a bar tab. Like, yo, throw me some Moscow Mules. I'm there. $10,000?
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
If you don't love New York and you're a young person with money, something is absolutely wrong with you.
Yeah, the problem is you.
That dude couldn't handle New York. His knees are weak. His spirit is weak. His brother's an asshole. So we don't want him on the Knicks. In fact, that was part of one of the things catapulting us. Although we probably lost that trade because Dennis Smith Jr. is an actual, he's a Matt Stafford level player.
Can we drop in the footage of him getting jumped?
Yeah.
Is there actual footage? Oh yeah, his shirt was ripped.
Just a quick clip.
So we got to put it
because they chipped him up and his eye was bleeding. Put it
in. But we got to put it next to the clip where Dak was getting jumped in college.
Please.
So which was worse? Who got beat up the most?
We'll have to search out.
And by the way, the reason this came up is because they were talking. Because I guess Dak's brother tweeted that like, oh, I'm going wherever Dak goes. I guess kind of speculating that Dak's
obviously
going.
Was he going to stay in Dallas if Dak gets traded?
And that's why I told the guy.
That's like what's his face? Blake Griffin's brother talking about I'm going to go wherever Blake goes. Of course, he's going to go wherever Blake goes.
Of course. But that's what I was telling the guys because they were saying then the media was talking about how close they were. My thing is, if they were real tight and they were close, where was his ass when Dak was getting jumped? And that's how this.
Can't throw no hands.
Yeah, that's true.
You probably can't throw hands. So
He'd be there if he could.
if you're gonna make the situation worse by getting involved, where now you're getting your ass whooped and he's got to try to rescue you, stay out the fight. Yeah. That might have been a smart move on.
Yeah, man. Especially if you're the no-name brother, go in there and take the beating.
The other thing is too is I'm not hopping in there. I'm not hopping in there to defend anybody named Dakota. So if your name is Dakota, unless it's Johnny Dakota, if your first name is Dakota, I'm letting you get your ass whooped. But
it's his brother.
But no, there are people that are shitty brothers. Like
first of all,
Traitorous Latvian's brother.
You should be fighting for your brother anyway. None of you guys are my biological brother. If anybody tried to touch you,
fair enough.
I'm coming off the top rope and I'm blasting somebody. Just know that.
This is fair enough.
It's his biological brother. It's his meal ticket making 10, 15, $20 million a year. Why are you letting the guy get a beating? Wasn't Prescott in like a parking lot at a college game or something like that?
Yeah. He was in a parking lot. That's where he got jumped.
At least the traitorous Latvian got jumped outside of a club at night.
Now,
there has to be, alcohol involved.
There's a caveat.
There might be a crazy Russian mob. There might be a crazy Russian mob story.
There's a caveat to that.
Just got jumped at a college game by college kids.
But check this. He got beat up outside of a club in Latvia. You're the most famous person in the entire country. You're the most famous. Yeah. Oh no, there was somebody that like they ripped his shirt. They punched and they were however the hell they talk. But
you ever see that? You ever see that show?
How are you the most famous person in the entire country? Nobody ever beat up Pele.
You ever
no
see
one
that
ever
show?
beat up Pele. No one ever beat up Michael Jordan.
Well, they killed.
How does Latvian sound like again?
They killed Michael Jordan's
a lot
dad.
of phlegm. It's a lot of phlegm.
Oh
Peace,
God,
Mr. Jordan.
Oh man,
they killed Michael Jordan's dad. So
Well, listen, I'm not calling for anybody's life to be ended, but go ahead and beat up Porzingis again. Take his knees out because we need that draft pick.
Yo, I'm just saying, my man is like 7'3". What is he? 270, 280? How are the dudes beating him up, bro?
He's nowhere close to 280.
He's
like 210, 230 around there.
You should be chipping from long range. He's got to have better battle skills. Than
he's got to create more space in that fight.
Yeah, bro. Like jab him off of you.
He's
7'3", 240. 7'3", 240.
And a fucking Olympic level athlete.
But what we talked, the old man's not here today, but Sage always brings this up, that those star athletes can't fight. So if he is that big, here's the other thing, right? His entire family is that big. His brother's like 6'10". His dad's like 6'10", 6'11".
Is he really?
The whole family is huge. So he never got into any fights. He was the little brother. Before he got involved, everything was stopped. And then they found out he can play basketball a little bit. He
was out on the court, dunking and shit and running layup drills. And
it's the
his
Isaiah Thomas effect. The Isaiah Thomas effect. Isaiah Thomas grew up in the worst city in Chicago, the worst part of Chicago. Admits he can't fight because nobody ever let him fight. They always kept him protected.
Did you ever see that show? It's called like Scam City or something like that. And they go to different cities and they see how the people like run scams on the tourists.
No, I watched American Greed, but I watched this scam. I've never heard of it though. They went to somewhere in Russia and like this dude went to like a club or maybe it was even like a titty bar or something. And like they were drinking at the bar and all of a sudden like there was like a bullshit fight that broke out. And they proved on the show, they had like undercover cameras and people like interviewing like the witnesses and shit that the fight was a scam. The fight was it was staged.
It was staged. It was a setup for like everybody inside the bar to be like, oh shit, there's a fight. And like these two tourist dudes were like sitting at the bar drinking. The fight breaks out and they like back up into the corner. And then next thing you know, there's like Russian police that come in and start interviewing everybody. And they were like, all right, like you're going to jail unless you give us $100 right now. And it wasn't police.
Porzingis got beat up outside of that club too.
Yeah. Porzingis got rolled because they knew he had money.
They said, come here. We're going to fuck you up today. You have $100. You have $100. Give me $100.
You talk shit about New York? Give us your money.
Your brother is bitch. You hit me.
Your
Your
brother
brother
is
is bitch.
Yeah. And his brother was down the street, like trying to get a cab and shit.
We're getting delusional now.
Yeah, well, actually, I think this is actually was probably a good start, a good stopping point here. We're about an hour and change in there. We'll see you next week on CrackBacks. Remember, your brother is bitch.